What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Jay coming back again with another video. Obviously, today we're going to get into the NFL 2023 signings, free agency, and of course, trades. Make sure you guys smash that like, that thumbs up. It is much appreciated. And of course, if you are new, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications. That we be updated with streams, content just like this. Before we get started, I want to say that obviously we got some college going on tonight. I'm thinking about doing the Rockets. It was the Rockets and the Wolverines. I think Villanova's playing tonight, if I'm not mistaken. I'll confirm it later. But I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. We'll get some college going tonight, hopefully. I should have all my affairs in order, so I do apologize for the last couple of days. Had a lot of stuff going on. Okay, so let's go ahead and dig into it, guys. NFL free agency grades for 2023. This is coming from ESPN. So we'll tap into that. George, what's going on with you, man? Shout out to the Wrench Gang. Shout out to the family. Shout out to all the watchers and all the listeners as we get into it. Let me pull this up here. Okay. NFL free agency. Now, keep in mind, guys, we're merely looking at this content from ESPN, breaking it down, seeing how we feel about it, and going from there. I want everybody to think like this is Jay's take. I'm looking at the content, we're going over it together and giving our take. All right? So nobody get mad at me for the things that have happened or that have been said. Shout out to you, Ruben. What's going on with you, man? All right, so let's jump right into it, guys. So I want to say that for me, the most shocking thing about this whole free agency is probably the amount of money that Daniel Jones has gotten paid and why Mr. Lamar Jackson can't seem to find the right deal. We'll obviously get into that later, but we'll go down this list. So Seahawks signed Jermont Jones. He gets 3 years, 51 million. 30 million is guaranteed. And ESPN gives this trade or deal a grade of B. Says, I wonder how similar Jones' contract will look to Zach Allen's deal with the Broncos, considering how similar the players' stats are overall. Both are 2019 third-round picks who play 3 or 4 technique and broke out in 2022. Jones, 16% pass rush win rate, ranked 6th among defensive tackles, while Allen's 15% ranked 8th. And I like Allen's. I think Javon Hargrave's contract in 2020 is a decent comp, with Jones making slightly more than once adjusted for cap inflation. In both cases, I think I would squeamishly make the deal, feeling like these are expensive contracts that still make a chance to have a good value. Skips on to basically say that Seattle really needs a pass rush help, which I do think so. I think one of the biggest issues with Seattle is making sure that Gino has enough time to pass that ball and make the decisions that he needs to. So I'd agree with that. I definitely give that a B. Coming over to you guys. Shout out to you, Ruben. What's going on with you, man? Ruben and Bill, Lenny, what's going on with you? Uh, Chase, how do you feel about the Bills going into this season? So I'll tell you this. Before we keep going, I don't like that Tremaine Evans is gone. I was going to get to that later, but you guys want to talk about this now, which is fine. Um, I don't like the fact that Tremaine Evans is gone. Bills basically need to figure out, High Poyer. We need that duo um, to work, and it's really unfortunate. Obviously, we expect things to be shaken up. That's just how it goes, especially in the offseason and during free agency and for trading and trying to figure out cap space and all that kind of stuff. You're going to have deals that are reworked. You're going to have players making different decisions. And hey, I respect Tremaine and as far as the decision that he made, go make your money, my friend. I will miss you though, and obviously I will miss calling your name. So, Richard says, I predict Jones will be out of the league in 3 years or another team as a backup. There's tons of that. You know how that works, Richard. There is tons of that. Keith Cates says Ravens should have paid before this past season. Well, the problem with Lamar, Keith, is the fact that I think Lamar got greedy. I think he got greedy. I think he wanted more money at the time than what the Ravens were willing to give him, and that's why he's in the situation that he's in right now. I feel like he should have made that decision to take. It was a little over 100 million guaranteed too. He should have taken that money, balled out, right? Or if the future played out the way that it was going to, he would have got injured, but at least he would have still had his money and he would have been fine. So now, because he's injured or dealt with an injury, they're looking at it from all different angles. Hey, you're not worth this amount of money. We want to pay you this. So figure it out. And that's kind of where it is, and it's really unfortunate. We'll get back to it. We will get back to it. All right, so next up, it's going to be Cowboys re-signing Donovan Wilson. 3 years, $24 million, grade a B. Wilson was a solid part of Cowboys defense that ranked third in EPA allowed per play last season, and having him back will be good for Dallas. He's a strong run defender who often plays close to the line of scrimmage. He ranks seventh in run stop with win rate among defenders with at least 50 wins or losses, and his coverage numbers were also very good last season with 0.3 yards allowed per coverage snap as the nearest defender per NFL Next Gen Stats. And on top of that, Wilson added 5 sacks. So how else, obviously, are you going to help Cowboys defense than reworking who's currently on the squad, who has that chemistry, and is basically going to help, the Cowboys do what they need to do. Now, obviously, offense, we need to talk about that because I feel like Zeke getting paid all that money hasn't been able to really do much more than what Tony Pollard is hungry for. So, and that's why Tony Pollard is franchised or getting franchise tagged at this point. So, yeah, it's another good B for the Cowboys resigning Donovan Wilson. Next up is obviously going to be the Texans trading for Shaq Mason. So, Houston Texans Houston Texans get Shaq Mason and a 2023 seventh rounder. Buccaneers will get a 2023 sixth rounder. They give the Texans grade a B plus, Bucks grade a B. So this is a nice cheap pickup for the Texans. Mason was considered something of a star not long ago, but slid to 27th in pass block win rate at guard last season in Tampa Bay. Even at that level, though, he's a shade above average, and just 2 years ago, he ranked 8th in the same category. Now, I'll tell you this. As much football as we watch and as much of the game that we love, I'm not too familiar with the Texans. I'm just going to be honest. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to sit here and act like I know everything about the Texans because I don't. If anybody does know, how have they really been on defense? I know that they were trying to figure out some things offensive-wise, and they did show up in a couple of games, but defensive-wise, I really don't think they've done too much and that they're going to do too much. And that's just my take on it. So, if that's your team, sorry. But let me know in the comments how you feel about the Texans and what they're going to do, and then we can talk about it. You can educate me. Keep it going. Raiders agreed to sign wide receiver Jakobi Meyers. Now, this is wild. This is absolutely wild. 3 years, $33 million, $21 million guaranteed. Grade A. Of course this is a grade A. It's Jakobi Meyers. Okay, you got Jimmy Garoppolo. All right. Jakobi Meyers, let's go. The wide receiver market exploded a year ago, and the free agent class is pretty weak overall this season. So I assume that Meyers, arguably the top free agent wide receiver available, will receive a major payday. He isn't widely regarded as the number one, but then again, the same could be said for Christian Kirk, who received an average of $18 million per year as a free agent in 2022. Given that, consider me shocked at how cheap Meyers came to the Raiders. Las Vegas got a steal at the most important non-quarterback position in the sport, and I agree with this 100%. Shout out to the Raiders making some big moves, and I really think the Raiders are going to be contenders. I know people like to hate on Jimmy Garoppolo. I know it. So many of you haters out there, you Jimmy Garoppolo haters. I actually like the guy. I think he can be decent if he stays healthy. But hey, the man played under Tom Brady. I get why people hate him. It's fine. Shout out to Corey. Says Lamar wants too much, and I hear everyone in the media says it's collusion. It's not. Lamar has been injured the last 2 years, and if you pay him 220 million or more, and it makes zero sense. So I'll agree with you like halfway. All right, I'll agree with you halfway. I will say that he is asking for too much money right now due to his level of play, due to the injuries and things like that, and what kind of quarterback that he is. What I will not agree with you is the fact of denying potential collusion. Because there is no reason for certain teams that need a quarterback to come out and immediately, without even thinking about it, say, hey, we're not interested. Multiple teams said this. So, obviously, respectfully, I'm going to agree with half your statement, but the other half, I'm also going to respectfully not agree with that. Much love. Shout out to Richard. Says Raiders will contend. I'm looking forward to it. I love when these kind of things happen because obviously it leads to things shaking up. We get to see great games, right? People not getting blown out just because they're garbage on offense or defense. So I like it. We'll keep it going. Browns agree to sign defensive tackle Dalvin Tomlinson, 4 years, 57 million, 27.5 million guaranteed, grade C plus after finishing 29th in EPA per design run allowed. The Browns need run stoppers. Tomlinson's 33% run stop win rate last season ranked 32nd out of 68 qualifying defensive tackles, which is better than anyone the Browns had at that position, but not overly impressive in itself. Pass rushing is a similar story as Tomlinson's 7% pass rush win rate ranked 34th among defensive tackles. So they give this a C. It's probably a lot of money for Dalvin Tomlinson. Obviously, he's going to try to add to that, defensive front. But what are the Browns going to do? They got to spend money somewhere. They got to figure out their defense. Offenses working on the chemistry, especially with who they have at quarterback, right? So they got to spend some money. They got to figure it out, try to build a team or try to build a defensive team so that they can start being a contender themselves. So what does this mean for the 2023 draft? The Browns checked the defensive tackle box, but they could now draft help at edge rusher and wide receiver, adding a pass catcher with number 42 overall pick. Cleveland's first selection could be option wide receivers Josh Downs from North Carolina, Marvin Mims from Oklahoma, and Tyler Scott from Cincinnati are three prospects who fit. Shout out to Conrad. What's going on with you, man? All the way from Guyana, South America. Much love, man. Much love to you. Shout out to Crazy Guy. Yo, the number one Cowboys fan in the house. I don't know about that Crazy Guy. There's a lot of Cowboys fans around here. But hey, if you feel that way, more power to you. All right, next up, Vikings set to sign defensive end Marcus Davenport. 1 year, $13 million. This is a B+. There are definitely reasons to be skeptical of Davenport, but I'm on board with taking a low-risk 1 year chance on him. He managed just half a sack last season in New Orleans while posting a 14% pass rush win rate at the edge, a shade below 16% average for edge rushers. That was such a disappointment in part because he enjoyed a breakout 2021 campaign in which he recorded 9 sacks and had 20% PRWR at the edge. So I think shout out to Mike. He says Vikings are in cap, so not bad. I think one of the biggest issues is this too, right? There were so many games where obviously the Vikings had to come back because they didn't have what they needed as far as, with the pass rush. Them adding to it obviously is going to help them defensively. But I think it'll quill some of those games where you say, well, why is it so close? Well, they don't have a defense. So, yeah, they're letting other teams put up 28 points, 33 points, come back and win it because of what the offense does. So they need better defensive players. This is going to be a good sign, even though it's a 1 year deal. But, yes, I would agree with the grade of a B plus. Next up, Browns agree to sign defensive end Ogbonya Okenrankwo. This is a grade A for 3 years, 22 million, 12.5 million guaranteed. We'll keep it going. This is a huge one. I like this one for the Steelers. They agree to sign Patrick Peterson, 2 years, 15.3 million, 7.15 million guaranteed. Yes, Patrick is a little older. He's a veteran, right? But I feel like the Steelers are putting together some pieces for them to ball out. Steelers lost Cameron Sutton to the Lions, but replaced him with a reliable veteran in Peterson. Peterson had a nice year with the Vikings in 2022, allowing 1 yard per coverage snap. Average for outside corners is 1.2 and minus 11 EPA to opposing offenses when targeted per NFL Next Gen stats. Peterson turns 33 in July. It's an old man in football terms. 33 in July, so there's always risk of a quick decline, but he should be a perfect, solid stopgap for at least a season. Financially, it's very little risk, and Peterson is still playing pretty well, so why not? Yeah, I agree with this. It's a solid move for the Steelers. Um, yeah, yeah. Shout out to Richards, this crazy guy. Disappointed. Well, around until Jerry releases control, plus Dak needs to go. That would just shake up the whole Cowboys world if Dak was gone. All right, next up. Broncos agree to sign Zach Allen, 3 years, 45 million. 32 million guaranteed. This is a grade of B. The Broncos are presumably swapping out Jermont Jones for Allen. We went over this earlier. Assuming they don't also re-sign Jones, they opted for the player who thrived in new defensive coordinator Vance Jones' Cardinals defense in 2022, as opposed to the player who excelled in a Broncos jersey. Allen recorded 5.5 sacks in 2022, but ranked 8th in pass rush win rate as a defensive tackle at 15%. Let me stop there. Has anyone been talking about the fact of Russell Wilson's ability to not have a proper offensive line? And why? Has anyone been talking about that? Or has it been just an afterthought because Russell Wilson has been playing so terrible? Shout out to Sierra. Did you guys see her in that dress? If you guys didn't see Sierra in that dress, because that's a whole nother topic. You know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. I gotta make it fun and entertaining for you guys. I gotta make it fun for you guys. Wait till you see this dress. Wait till you see this dress. All right. Is this okay? Is it okay? Yeah, I get. Yeah, it's okay. You know what? Let's do it. Forget it. Let's do it. I don't care. It is what it is. I'll deal with the consequences later. Russell Wilson, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? Look at Sierra. Look at Russell Wilson. Look at Sierra in this dress. Look at this. I'm not negating the fact that she's a beautiful woman. I'm not negating the fact that she has an amazing figure. All I'm saying is I'm not letting, yes, I'm using the word letting. I'm not letting my wife come out like this. I'm just saying, guys. I'm you see it. You see it. You see it. This is at the Oscar party. You see it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Um How many L's can you take? How many L's can you take? And I get it. She's got an album coming out. She's trying to be provocative and she's probably promoting the album. But Russell, you just gotta have it, man. And I don't think Russell Wilson has it. And that's the thing that irks me about Mr. Russell Wilson. Shout out to you, Bob. I forgot about you, man. I have not forgot about you. I'm telling you now, Russell Wilson is not washed. Shout out to Mike. Russ has put on some weight and muscle since he was with the Seahawks. He is more than a step slower. Hey, I think Russell Wilson has more things to worry about right now than football. But hey, let's get back to it. Shout out to Conrad. Ain't no shame in sinning. All right. All right. Let's get back to it. I just feel like I had to share that with you guys because, Russell Wilson's just and like I love the guy, but it's like, it's like that little brother you want to just smack him upside his head. Like, get it together. All right. Moving on. Next up is going to be Bears agree to sign guard Nate Davis, 3 years, 30 million, 17.5 million guaranteed, grade of B minus. Since I'm not convinced the Bears' offensive line was the problem last season. Justin Fields has been a sack magnet dating back to Ohio State, but I certainly understand them wanting to protect their franchise quarterback as well as they can. Tevin Jenkins was fine in pass protection according to his pass block win rate, but Davis was a little better. Perhaps this means the Bears will kick Jenkins over to right tackle, or perhaps they can have him as a versatile backup and sign one of the value right tackles available on the free agent market. So, I mean, Justin Fields is another running quarterback, right? He's gonna run out of that pocket. He's gonna hope that he can find some space, and if he can't find that space, he's gonna be too scared to throw it because he may potentially throw a pick. So that's why he's been the sack magnet that he has, even in Ohio with Ohio State. Bob Evans says ball hog. Yeah, there you go. Someone agrees with me. Next up, Giants to sign Bobby Okereke. 4 years, 40 million, 22 million guaranteed. This is a grade of C minus. Did the Giants see the David Long, TJ Edwards, or Jermaine Pratt signings before making this deal? Okereke is a fine to good linebacker. He ranked 11th in run stop win rate at the position. His 1.1 yards per coverage snap allowed the season is below average for linebackers per NFL Next Gen stats, though he was a little better than average the past 2 seasons. Okay. I mean, if you're throwing money, down the well, when you can spend all that kind of money on Daniel Jones, why not give Bobby $40 million over 4 years? Just keep throwing money down the well. We'll hope something works. Dolphins assign David Long, 2 years, 11 million. This is a grade A. Outside of the deals for Tremaine Edmonds and Bobby Okereke, it's clear the linebacker market is coming cheap. Long just missed qualifying for our run stop win rate leaderboard last season, but he would lead all linebackers in this category. While his 46% run stop win rate was a little higher than he posted the previous 2 seasons, he's always been strong in the metric. In coverage, he was decent, allowing 0.9 yards per coverage snap, which is average for linebackers. Next up, Buccaneers re-sign Jamel Dean. That's 4 years at $52 million. Grade a B minus. We'll keep it going. Falcons make a splash with Jesse Bates III. He'll get 4 years at $64 million. This is grade a B. Bengals re-sign Jermaine Pratt. We just talked about that. 3 years, $21 million. B minus. Bears agree to sign Tremaine Edmonds, and this is the slap in the face to all Bills fans, including myself. 4 years, $72 million, $50 million guaranteed. I'm not mad at Tremaine. He had to do what he had to do. He had to go get that money. And I'm pretty sure that the Bills could have reworked something to make sure that Tremaine stayed. But you know what? Just let him go. He hasn't been the heart of the defense at all. Not at all. It's a grade of C. The Bears invested in their off-ball linebacker group by signing T.J. Edwards. Then they really invested by signing Edmonds to a ton of money. Edmonds is a great player, but I can't endorse this choice. What? I don't like that take at all. Um, doesn't make any sense. How can someone be a great player but you don't endorse the choice? All right, let's start with his numbers, because they're really strong. Edmonds, 0.6 yards per coverage snap allowed last season, was third best among linebackers with at least 250 coverage snaps per NFL Next Gen Stats. His minus 17 EPA allowed in coverage was fourth best, and his 39% run stop win rate was ninth best. But that's not too dissimilar from what the Bears got in Edwards for a small fraction of the price. At an average of $17 million per year, Edmonds' deal comes in below the contract that Roquan Smith signed with the Ravens, which averaged $20 million per year and guaranteed $45 million at signing, but is still high. I mean, isn't it all about what your agent can negotiate? Right? I mean, that's not a solid take when it comes to saying, oh, well, I don't agree that they got Edmonds for this amount of money. Well, guess what? His agent was able to negotiate that amount of money, getting him the bag that he could. So to me, I would actually give this grade an A because they got one hell of a player in Tremaine Edmonds, even though they had to pay. So, next up, Commanders agreed to offensive tackle Andrew Wiley, 3 years, $24 million, grade of A minus. Chiefs to sign offensive tackle Jawan Taylor, 4 years, $80 million, $60 million guaranteed, grade C minus. Taylor is an adequate pass blocking right tackle, but this contract severely overstates his ability. His 89% pass block win rate for Jacksonville last season ranked 37th out of 64 qualifying tackles last season, and his 69% run block win rate was sixth worst among tackles. Our numbers are not alone. Pro Football Focus had Taylor as above average in pass protection and last in run blocking. That's two different evaluation methods coming to the same conclusion, that Taylor is far from an elite tackle. Plus, Trevor Lawrence's strong sack avoidance, a strength for Patrick Mahomes too, likely artificially makes the Jaguars' defensive line look better than it is. This is a lot of money for a man who's not at an elite level. This is a lot of money for a man who's not playing at an elite level. But hey, once again, if your agent can negotiate for this kind of money and get a team to pay that money, more power to them. Get your bag. Moving on. Patriots to re-sign Jonathan Jones, 2 years, $19 million with $13 million guaranteed, grade a B+. Raiders to sign Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy. 3 years, $67.5 million, $34 million guaranteed. You could say whatever you want about the man's talent. You could say whatever about his injuries. You could even call him a choke artist. But the man knows how to get paid wherever he goes. $67 million, $34 million guaranteed. This is a grade B. Shout out to Bob. I know, Bob. I know you wanted him, Bob. I know you wanted him with those Cowboys. But they don't want to give up Dak Prescott. They rather ride out Dak Prescott. You guys go through the issues and emotions that you're going through for another season. And then probably after that, you'll get a real quarterback. I'm just joking, guys. Don't fight me. I'm just joking. Grade B, this was a logical pairing for 3 reasons. The Raiders needed a quarterback after cutting Derek Carr with the number 7 overall pick in April's draft. They are too far back to guarantee one of the top quarterbacks. Garoppolo once thrived in Josh McDaniels' New England offense. This is going to be amazing for him because obviously he's back with Josh McDaniels. He knows the cadence. He knows the playbook. It's going to be wonders. if they figure out that chemistry and get this Raiders offense going. Half measures in the NFL are often bad, but this one makes some sense. Garoppolo has always been efficient, even if we have to assume Kyle Shanahan's system gets some credit. Ranking from 12th to 16th in QBR every season, he is qualified. Given his injury history, however, qualifying has been the hard part. There's at least non-zero upside here. Two, considering his best stretch of play was in 2017 with McDaniels and the Patriots when he had 83 QBR in 6 games. Garoppolo to the Raiders. Lions assigned Cameron Sutton 3 years, $30 million, $22.5 million guaranteed. You guys already heard about this. This was a good deal. I want to see the Lions do wonders this season. I really do. I have much respect and love for Jared Goff. I like him being the underdog in this situation. I like what he showed last season, and I do think he's going to come out swinging. So shout out to the Lions. Broncos assigned offensive tackle Mike McGlinchey. 5 years, $87 million, $50 million guaranteed. Okay, grade C. The Broncos want to protect Russell Wilson, but the cost of this contract overrates McGlinchey, who is solid but not elite. Once again, we're having this conversation about solid but good players, not at an elite level, getting elite money. But hey, McGlinchey's 90% pass block win rate made him a median pass blocking tackle last season, ranking 32nd out of the 64 qualifiers at that position. It was not a down season, however, as his PBWR in each of the previous seasons was 85%. In fact, he only has to put up a top 10 PBWR season once in 2019. His run block win rate, however, jumped up to 81% in 2022 and ranked 5th among all tackles. Who are these agents, man? How are these guys able to work these kind of deals? I need to go to school and become an agent, because if these guys can negotiate, best believe I can negotiate. My goodness. 49ers assigned defensive tackle Javon Hargrave, 4 years, $84 million, $40 million guaranteed. This is a B plus. As we keep it going, Falcons assigned David Onyemata, 3 years, $35 million, $24 million guaranteed. Grade C. Broncos assigned guard Ben Powers, 4 years, $52 million, $28.5 million guaranteed. Grade B plus. Broncos are spending so much money on that offensive line. And I'll tell you this. I'm fine with spending the money, because guess what? You need the talent. But you know what the problem is? The offensive line has to respect their quarterback, and they don't respect Russell Wilson. When you have your offensive line grabbing your quarterback's face mask and talking to him and pointing his finger in his face like this, that man doesn't care about his quarterback. He doesn't care what happens to him, right? If someone is grabbing your face mask and pointing in your face while they're talking to you, they don't respect you. Maybe you guys need to figure that out before you spend all this money on the O-line. Figure out the respect issue. Shout out to Sean Payton. We'll see how he does. Bears assigned linebacker TJ Edwards, 3 years, $19 million, $12 million guaranteed. This is a grade of A. We already went through this. Falcons trading for Jonnu Smith. So Falcons get Jonnu. Patriots get a 7th rounder. I like Jonnu. So why are they giving Falcons a grade C minus? All right, let's read into it. We got a second string tight end trade. The key here is that Smith is reworking his contract because he was slated to make $11 million in salary and roster bonuses in 2023, which is way too much for him. I have no faith in this guy. But $6.25 million is guaranteed, so there's no way he's getting less than that. I don't think he's worth that price based on production. Smith has been incredibly disappointing. So wait a minute. It's so funny. They're fine with giving ridiculous amounts of money to like above average or almost there, but not elite, right? Elite money to almost average, but they're not okay with giving just average money to someone that has potential. Make it make sense. Anyways, goes on to say, I don't think he's worth that price based on production. Smith has been incredibly disappointing since signing with New England as a free agent 2 years ago, recording just 294 and 245 receiving yards in 2001 and 2022, respectively. Looking back at it now, there's evidence that his breakout 448-yard, 9 touchdown, including one rushing performance in 2020 with the Titans, wasn't anything special. Okay, so let's look at Mac Jones' production, because that'll be the reason why he didn't have the years that he should have. Shout out to K. What's going on with you? Let's keep it going. Commanders re-signing Deron Payne, 4 years, $90 million, $46 million guaranteed at signing. This is a grade C for the Commanders. We got the Rams and the Dolphins. Jalen Ramsey. So there was so much talk about this. People were hitting me up. They were talking all this stuff about the AFC now and how the Bills needed to be worried because of what was going on with the Dolphins. The Dolphins still need a viable quarterback that can survive. Let me say it one more time for the people in the back. The Dolphins need a viable quarterback who can survive taking a hit before I'm worried about anything. I'm not worried about the Dolphins. Trade whoever. Your quarterback needs to learn how to throw that ball and move so he doesn't get hit and take concussions. Until that happens, well, we'll just say welcome back to 2022. Rams get a grade B. Dolphins get a grade A minus. Dolphins just signaled that they're going for it in 2022, as they should. The 2022 season ended poorly with an exit in the wild card round, but in the process, they revealed tremendous upside. When quarterback Tagovailoa was on the field, Miami recorded 0.13 expected points added per play, more than the Bills with Josh Allen 0.12 or the Bengals with Joe Burrow 0.08. The Dolphins' defense was meddling, however, despite serious players on that side of the ball, including corner Xavier Howard, edge rusher Jalen Phillips, safety Javon Holland, and after the trade deadline, pass rusher Bradley Chubb. Richard says Dolphins should have took David Carr. Hey, that would have been good. That would have been good. King Dog says, I hope Bills don't lose good players. We've already lost Tremaine Edmonds, man. We lost Tremaine Edmonds. That was a huge, huge loss. We're going to keep it going, though. Next up, Texans signed Robert Woods, 2 years, $15 million, $10 million guaranteed. That's a B+. After that, Bears trading number 1 overall pick to Panthers. This was huge. Blockbuster news. Carolina Panthers get the number 1 pick. Chicago Bears get DJ Moore, a number 9 pick, number 61 pick, the 2024 first rounder, and the 2025 second rounder. So for the Panthers, this is a B-. For the Bears, B+. Keeping it going. Yeah, Eagles re-sign Brandon Graham, 1 year at $6 million. This is an A-. He'll be 35 years old in April. He's getting old. This may be his last couple years in the game, but obviously they bring him back on. The chemistry that the Eagles have defense-wise worked. They just got outplayed by Mr. Patrick Mahomes. And we're going to end it at this before we get into our general conversation and thoughts and all that kind of stuff. $6 million for 1 year, Bob. Giants re-signed Daniel Jones. To me, this is probably just the worst deal that the Giants could have ever made. Ever. That's right. I said ever. 4 years, 160 million, 82 million guaranteed. And I'm agreeing with ESPN on this because they're giving a grade C minus. I'll be honest here. I'm stunned. We're here. I'm stunned as well. I assumed the Giants were going through the contract dance with Jones, seeing if they could sign a deal that guaranteed little beyond the franchise tag, and knowing all along they'd tag him and potentially let running back Saquon Barkley walk. I was wrong. Yes, the 2019 overall selection played shockingly well in his first year in Coach Brian Daboll's system, ranking sixth in QBR, 60.8, and leading the Giants to the playoffs. He was exceptional at turnover avoidance with 1.2% turnover rate on pass attempts, sacks, scrambles, and design runs, second only to Jalen Hurts. He also fumbled a career low 6 times and threw interceptions on just 0.9% of his passes, best among all QBR qualified quarterbacks. Here's my problem. Would we consider Daniel Jones to be just like Lamar Jackson quarterback-wise? I would. And you guys can let me know if I'm wrong. But I would say he runs just as much, maybe a little bit less than Lamar. So that would basically state that Lamar should be worth the same amount of money then, right? Because if I had to make a pick between who I would choose between Lamar and Daniel Jones, it would be Lamar. So it goes back to if Daniel Jones can get 160 million, 82 guaranteed, you probably need to give Lamar around 180 maybe, and 100 guaranteed. Shout out to Bob. Says I consider him nothing, but whatever he is on the bottom of my shoe. Oh, shout out to Richard. Says I like I said, Jones gone from league in 3 years or back up from under a team. Yeah. I mean, the guy put on a show, right? He put on a decent show. But is he worth that amount of money? No. And what's going to happen next year? He'll bomb out, and then everybody's going to sit there and complain, oh, they gave him 160 million, and look at what he's doing now. But hey, I'm going to say it again. If your agent can make these kind of deals, make that money. All right, so that's going to be your updates for current free agency and trades. Also, I had some other news. Mr. Here we go. This is huge. This is huge. Let's share this one. We'll end it off with this before we just chat it up for a little bit. Mr. Michael Thomas, Saints to keep Michael Thomas on a 1-year deal. Saints, in a surprise turn of events, will retain wide receiver Michael Thomas, the source told ESPN's Adam Schefter. The sides have agreed to a 1-year, $10 million deal that could pay Thomas up to $15 million. A parting of ways looked inevitable in January after the Saints restructured Thomas' deal, bringing his base salary to the league minimum for 23 and 24 in exchange for large roster bonuses that would have made keeping him or trading him extremely difficult. But the Saints said publicly that nothing had been decided, and the move simply gave them flexibility in free agency. It became clear that the tide was turning last week after the Saints agreed to terms with former Las Vegas Raiders quarterback Derek Carr. Thomas retweeted several articles about the addition of Carr on his social media account, adding, "Thank you, Jesus," in another tweet. Carr spoke glowingly of Thomas during his introductory news conference Saturday, speaking as if they would be playing together in 23, while Saints coach Dennis Allen sat next to the quarterback with a smile on his face. So, it looks like Mr. Thomas, you're going to have to play You can't ride the bench anymore and make money. You got to get out there and ball and still show that you still got it, which I want to see that. I want to see Michael Thomas get out there and ball and be the person that we know that he could be. That wide receiver that was dazzling out there, that played for Mr. Breeze. Want to see it. I want to see it. Richard says Giants pay Lamar $200 million in 2024. The man needs an agent. The man needs an agent. I get what you're trying to do, cut other people out from meddling in your money. But sometimes it's worth it to pay that fee to get what you're worth. So, will they pay him that amount of money? I don't know. Is he worth it? Sure. I think he is. If Daniel Jones could get 160, Lamar Jackson should be able to get 200. Shout out to John. Says Smith was a bust for the Pats. Drop key passes that would have been touchdowns. One would have been a game winner. Mac Jones is a problem too. Go Pats. Shout out to you, John. Thanks a lot for the take, man. Yeah, I mean, you got to look at it like this. Your tight ends, your wide receivers, they're only going to be as productive as good as their quarterback is, right? If the quarterback can get them the ball, obviously, yeah, it's up to them to catch that ball and then make plays with it too. But Mac Jones had a lot of accuracy issues for the last 2 years, right? It's not to say he's not going to develop and become great, but at the same time, he's had a lot of issues, which has put more pressure on the other players to try and make plays that they may or may not have been able to make. So, Thomas has to get splinters out. Shout out to you, Richard. Does Purdy start for the 49ers? So, the last thing I heard about Purdy is that his surgery went well. It was a success. I think Purdy does start. I'm going to give the kid the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say he starts for the 49ers. I think they're going to take some more time to develop and groom him, get him in position to lead the team. Obviously, they're going to have a couple backups that will be there for him. But I think the kid's ready. I think he's ready to be the face of the 49ers. I think a healthy Purdy would have made it to the Super Bowl. And some people are going to hate me for saying that. That's fine. That's fine. This is all an opinion, guys. It's all an opinion, right? But that's just how I feel. Shout out to you guys. We've got college NBA. I want to try to get some college NBA tonight. I'm going to be honest with you. I got to hit the gym. In the next hour. I got to get my workout in. As far as who's playing tonight, let me look this up. Who do we got? 7:00. We've got Toledo versus Michigan. So the Toledo Rockets, Toledo Rockets versus the Michigan Wolverines. That's at 7:00. Michigan's favored by 6. And then we have Yale and Vanderbilt at 9 p.m. What's more important to you guys? Who do you want to see? Do you want to see Toledo versus Michigan or Yale versus Vanderbilt? Actually, you know what? I'll put up a poll. Make this easy. Which college game for tonight? Toledo versus Michigan. Yale versus Vandy. Vanderbilt had a strong start last year, I remember. Correct me if I'm wrong. But they had a strong start and they did pretty good. Creed Rocky combo. Shout out to you, Richard. I didn't forget about that. The other thing too, man. We'll uh, we'll chop it up about that. All right, so we got 3 votes. Shout out to Timo. You're looking at the Bear Stearns 2008 Risk Management Employee of the Month. Listen, so I'm gonna be honest. I was gonna make the video over on We Need Clarity in regards to the SVB banking situation. I've been heavily on that. Everyone's been hitting me up worried. I've been on this banking situation. I've been dealing with some stuff that's been going on there. For those who don't know, I trade and I trade accordingly. So I've been dealing with some business stuff there. I was going to make a video about that. Obviously, it was not going to be financial advice because we can't do that unless you're certified to do it. But you can give your opinions as far as to what's going on and things like that. So I was going to drop that over on We Need Clarity. There's a lot going on as far as with the banking stuff, guys, and I can talk to you about it for an hour. I can give you a quick synopsis, but obviously that's reserved for another time. Um, 5 votes, Toledo versus Michigan. Shout out to you, Timo. Uh, well, it wasn't about the bank stocks because the bank stocks were fixed by your president, Mr. President Biden, and by them basically, saving everything Sunday night, that stopped the run on the banks, that stopped the financial risk in a sense that was essentially predicted to happen. So they were able to stop that, which calmed the market, calm consumer interest and their worries, and everything was fine. They're going to insure all monies, even the amounts that are over the FDI insured amount. So when you say that kind of stuff, and you're from the government, that leads to calming everybody so that the market can stay where it is and go back up. But only a select few people know that kind of stuff. I want to get in with the people who knew to sell before SVB went down. I want to be in those conversations, right? I want to be the on the wall for those conversations. I don't want to know what happens after. I want to be in the room when someone says, "Yes, sell 2 million 2 weeks before this happens." I want those conversations because guess what? It happened. CEO and board members sold millions of shares before it just decided to crash. But once again, it goes back to not insider information because then it's the Justice Department's burden of figuring out how they knew this was going to happen. But then you could say, hey, like, all I did was I went back and looked at old statements and documents from, I don't know, Q4, Q1, Q2 to figure out specifically how things were going to end up in this specific time frame. And then I could say, hey, I'm just going to, sell based upon pure theory. It's not insider information then, right? But you guys don't want that over here. We got to save that for the other channel. We gotta save that from the other channel. Uh See, that's why I tell you guys, Jay's not just a YouTuber. I gets busy in the business stuff. With that said, guys, we've got 10 votes. Toledo versus Michigan. You guys want me to do this early game? It's 5 o'clock. I gotta hit the gym. Toledo versus Michigan. And you guys want me to do that one. Bob says no. It's like, no. Um, I really want to do this Yale versus Vanderbilt, guys. I really do, guys and gals. For two reasons. Number one, it's the late game. I got some stuff I got to get done. I got to hit the gym. I got to eat. So, to be fair, though, even though I gave you guys the opportunity to vote, I'll flip a quarter. If I could find a quarter. All I've got is bills. I don't have a quarter. Bob said settled. I don't have a quarter. You guys are killing me. All right. Fine. We'll do Toledo and Michigan. Y'all know I'm a man of my word, so I'll stick to it. Toledo and Michigan, 7 o'clock. I'm going to get out of here. I got to head to the gym. See you guys in a couple hours. Subscribe. Smash the like, that thumbs up. Peace out.